So today I've got a little bit of a different kind of video for you. I'm going to be reacting to an interview with Gwyneth Paltrow, who is being interviewed by Drew Barrymore. This is probably from about a year ago, and they're talking extensively about the parenting, the co-parenting arrangement between Gwyneth Paltrow and her now ex-husband, Chris Martin, the lead singer of Coldplay. They have a fairly unusual relationship now, and they went through a fairly unusual divorce and separation and co-parenting arrangement. They very famously kind of coined the term, or at least brought it into popularity, of conscious uncoupling. Kind of a nauseating term if you ask me, but the concepts behind that term are not necessarily nauseating. We're going to hear her talk about it in this interview now, and I'm going to be kind of reacting to it as we go along, and then we can both form our own opinions about it. But let's hear what they have to say right now.
I really love how you co-parent, and you have been a major beacon of just how it can be done, because no parent on earth probably signs up to have kids and then wants to, have the plan change. How did you know to do this in this way? I mean, you literally gave a euphemism for divorce that makes us all feel like we're saying it with a flare of dignity and hope.
Thank you.
How did you take something broken and fix it?
I mean, it's so interesting because, like, in a way, my divorce and my relationship with Chris now is like better than our marriage was. So I do think that
The first thought I have with that statement is, if your relationship is better now, why couldn't you have made the changes that made it better while you were still married? That's just a question. And obviously I just got divorced, and my wife didn't give me the opportunity to fix our marriage. She just wanted out. And so it is kind of frustrating when I hear her say that, because if your relationship is better now than it ever was, it could have been that way while you were still married if you were willing to do the work and communicate about it. That's just my 2 cents. Let's keep going.
can be done. I think, there needs, I was really lucky because I had a doctor who kind of gave us a rubric for how to do it. And luckily he's writing a book, and I think it's coming out next year. Thank goodness. And because it really kind of lays out the tenets of how you do it. And it's a little bit unsurprising, right? It's like you have to have radical accountability. You have to know that every relationship is 50-50, no matter what you think, how you think you were wronged, or, how bad you perceive the other person's actions, or whatever the case may be.
I totally agree with that. Every relationship is indeed 50-50. It takes 2 people to make a marriage or a relationship, and it takes 2 people to break it. And I do think that level of accountability, being really taking ownership of what you brought to the marriage, both good and bad, and what you brought to the relationship that may have caused its demise, is crucial if you're going to have any sort of relationship moving forward. Now, of course, if you don't have kids and you just got divorced, if it were me, I'd never see my ex-wife again if we didn't have kids together. But we have 3 daughters together, and we have to find a way to move forward because we are still a family, even if we're not still married.
If you are brave enough to take responsibility for your half and really look at your own garbage and your own trauma and how it's presenting in the world and in your relationship, then there's really somewhere to go and something to learn and something to heal. And then also you're holding the other person in this sphere of humanity. Like, we're all part good and part bad. It's not binary. We're all gray area.
I do also agree with that. nobody is all good or all bad. We both bring both of those things to the table. We both have moments where we can be selfish or petty or quick-tempered or whatever the case may be. Those happen with everybody, and I think both people recognizing, acknowledging, and owning that is crucial if you're going to find a way to move forward co-parenting amicably.
We all are trying our best, and I really wanted my kids to not be traumatized if it were possible. Chris and I committed to putting them first, and that's harder than it looks, because some days you really don't want to be with the person that you're getting divorced from.
I totally agree with that as well. You have to put the kids first. Their needs have to come first. I'm definitely doing that on my end. I feel like my ex is sometimes doing that, but not entirely. She definitely is having moments, probably being fed by her new boyfriend, where she's being selfish and wanting more and more and more, despite the fact that we already have a divorce decree that spells out what everybody gets. But she's now since come back and asked for more and more and more, and that's just not fair. It has to be 50-50, and you have to find a way to work together and put the needs of the kids first.
But if you're committed to having a family dinner, then you do it, and you take a deep breath, and you look the person in the eye, and you remember your pact, and you smile, and you hug, and you make a joke, and you just recommit to this new relationship that you are trying to foster.
None of us want to get it wrong for our kids, but just because of what happened in the marriage is not about the parenting. This is about their relationship with their dad and their mom, not about their relationship with your marriage.
You know, you said it, it's like you're ending a marriage, but you're still in a family. Like that.
And I think that's crucial to remember. I did mention that a second ago, but even if you're not still in a romantic relationship, when you have kids together, you are still a family. You will be in each other's lives, for better or for worse, for decades to come. You'll be at weddings together, and in the hospital when somebody breaks an arm or something. You are stuck together. And so it's crucial to find a way to work together and to tolerate each other. That's something I'm working on really hard right now. My wife, or my ex-wife, I should say, is just, recently started to really put me to the test and put my patience to the test. And it's just something I have to commit to every day.
How it will be forever. Some days it's not as good as it looks, like we also have good days and bad days, but I think it's driving towards the same purpose of unity and love and really what's best for them. And we have this idea that just because we break up, we can't love the things about the person anymore that we loved. And that's not true.
I do think that's a crucial statement, and it's something that I need to do better at in dealing with my ex-wife, is remembering all of the things that made you fall in love with that person anyway. And maybe you're not in love with them now. Maybe you're the opposite of that. But those qualities are still there, and you can still relate to them on that level, and you can still focus on those positive things instead of on the negative things. Again, that's something I need to do a lot better at, instead of dwelling on the negatives and the frustrations and things like that, because those things are still there. The reasons that I fell in love with my now ex-wife are still there. I just need to focus more on those and less on the negatives.
Seen you from afar and wished to know you, and then it was like finally our timing came together, and I just
thank God
marvel at you. By the way, you are the best planner, the most cool friend, the best sense of humor. I die over you, and I would be totally selfish to just love up on you and not get like any insider goop information.
Nobody cares, Drew.
A turn tonally, but is there any exciting news or things you want to tell us so that we may better the outside after we've talked about how we take care of our insides and our hearts? What's the 411?
Well, I have been spending, quarantine's been a very interesting time, I think, for all of us. And, obviously it's been pretty horrific in a lot of ways. But I think there has been this wonderful silver lining of this beautiful insularity at home and with our kids and our loved ones. And, but no traveling, no rushing around. So it's sort of time to sit. It's been time to sit with yourself. And so I had sort of like recommitted to a few things to feel better, like my meditation practice, which had been so sporadic.
I completely agree with her about meditation. I know this is a little bit off topic, but getting into meditation is one of the key things that I got into shortly after my now ex-wife asked for a divorce. I felt lost, I felt totally discombobulated and directionless, and I was shell-shocked because her announcement surprised me so much. And meditation really grounded me, really got me in touch with myself, leveled my energy, and it gave me focus and drive and purpose, and just really helped me get through that. And so if you've never done it, I do highly recommend it. And it's not just sitting there cross-legged, holding your fingers like this in silence for an hour. That's not necessarily what meditation is about, and it's not how I do it. I actually use a free app called Insight Timer. There's a paid level, but I just use the free version. And it's just like any other app. You can kind of filter it by, well, I want a female voice guiding me through the meditation with background music, and I want to focus on anxiety and stress relief, and I need it to be under 10 minutes long, or under 5 minutes long, or 30 minutes long, whatever you want. You can set the filters any way you want, and then it just brings up all of the meditations, the guided meditations in the app that match that criteria. And then if you want, you can sort it by most listened to or most popular, that kind of thing, and then just pick them and start listening to them, and then bookmark the ones that resonate with you. I do that now. I do that every morning with almost very few exceptions, and it's really, really, really been super helpful. So if you're needing something, you're feeling not grounded, you're feeling in turmoil or chaos, I promise you that will help. And the guided meditations really help with my brain, which naturally kind of goes all over the place, and it really kind of helps center me and focus me, and it just really, really is really helpful. I can't stress that enough.
And making sure to move every single day, no matter what. And
I got to chime in on that too. Movement is life, people. Movement is life. When you become sedentary, that's when everything in your body starts to decay. I'm not a physical fitness trainer or anything like that, but I am a firm believer that we have to move every day, even just a little bit. I'm not talking about hours at the gym necessarily, but if you work a desk job, for instance, you can't just sit there all day for 8 hours without ever getting up, except for your lunch break and maybe the occasional bathroom break. Get up, stretch those legs, get that blood flow moving. Movement is life. And you've got to find ways to get movement in every day, even if it's just a little bit. Walk around the block, whatever. Movement is life, and it's crucial for our bodies as we get older, like I am, to keep going in a healthy way.
Like trying to be good with hydration and everything. And then, but my one little beauty tip that, since I was doing so many Zooms, all I could see was like these frown lines that I was having here. And I'm really lucky because one of my closest friends is a plastic surgeon. His name is Julius, and he lives in Chicago. And I'm always asking him, like, what's the thing coming down the road? And he gave me a teeny drop of this thing called Xeomin, which is a purified anti-wrinkle injection. And I just feel like it was purified. It's like a pure, uniquely purified formula. So I felt like, okay, this is in the wellness world. And it was a Zoom face cure for me.
All right, well, that's all for that video and my reaction of that video. If you like this video, if you want to see more videos like this, let me know that in the comments down below. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure and hit that like button and the subscribe button and the bell notification button too. That way you get notified of future videos just like this one. But for now, I'll see you in the next video.